Hey YouTube, just sitting on my lawnmower. I got thinking about some things and I was like, I haven't really talked about my favorite weapons. I don't really think about this a lot, but I got thinking about just general categories of weapons, and I just picked the main categories, but I got thinking about fantasy weapons too. And there's a lot of videos on YouTube about various weapons from different movies, sci-fi movies. Definitely the weapons that most of them have not been made yet, or there's nothing like that, in current commercial production. So I got thinking about it. I was like, of all the weapons, instead of doing like a top 10 fantasy video of fantasy weapons, or a movie weapons, or various things like that, I was like, I'm just going to pick my number one. And the more I looked online, the more videos had the same results. And I think it's just the cool factor, plus it's just an amazing weapon that was conceived. And simply put, that's the Jedi lightsaber. The Jedi lightsaber is just a formidable type of weapon. I think it can cut through pretty much anything. I don't really know what the lightsaber is actually made up of. And I'm not talking about the handle, I'm talking about the actual light part itself. Is that plasma? Some type of electrical current plasma, or I don't know, maybe a nuclear discharge of some type? I don't think so, but it's just a cool ass type of weapon. And some people have made replicas of it with lasers, but the hardest part is to just to get a certain length of that light and for it to stop. So you can definitely make real lasers or laser lightsabers that can cut and burn things, but it's nothing like the movies. So that's my favorite fantasy weapon. In terms of the most practical rifles, I think the military's M4, infantry rifle, that would probably be it for me with the select fire. I think that's just pretty much one of the lighter weight options these days, something that just really works and has been proven to work. I think that the coolest looking rifle, though, and it would also be a good battle rifle, would be the FN Scar. I've always liked the look of that. It just looks like it would be heavy, though, and it looks like it's a little bulky, but that's just compared to the M4. Now, in terms of practical carry guns, everyday carry or whatnot, there's all kinds. It could be pocket guns, it could be inside the waistband or even outside the waistband. But just, if I didn't have a problem or any kind of limitations on what I could carry, I have to really say that I would go with probably a Glock 26 in flat dark earth. I just like that gun, it's just a cool gun, and it may not be the thinnest and the lightest out there, and for me personally, I wouldn't pocket carry it. You can, some people actually do. That's just something that I like that gun. So another pistol, though, and just not so much for me personally that I would carry ever, but if I ever owned this gun, I think it would just be for the cool factor, and just because it's the appeal of it, just the looks. And that's the Walther PPK in .380 Auto. I just love that, and it would have to be an all stainless with the wooden grips. That to me would be the gun. Now, I do like the all stainless Enox, the Beretta 92 FS, and their version of the M9. That's pretty amazing as well. A little bit big for a gun for me personally, but the Walther PPK wins. The next item would be a small fixed blade for practical use. I think that the Gerber Ghost Strike really is excellent, and I do own that one, which is awesome. And I wouldn't even mind to see one of those like in a fully serrated, model. And then talking about maybe a folding blade for just practical self-defense, I think maybe a fully serrated, all blacked out Salt 1. Maybe even a Pacific Salt. It just depends, I guess, on what day and how I would feel if I wanted a bigger knife or not. And I'm not knocking, of course, the Endura and the Delica and the full serrations, or the Spidey Edge, they would call it. I just think that it's so cool to have a rust, proof knife with titanium clip and no stainless or no liners, or I guess there's stainless steel liners in them, and there'd be no liners in those in the Salt series. So I like that it's lightweight, no liners, titanium clip, and I just like the knife overall. It's just so lightweight and so usable. So the Salt series, in my opinion, win. And in terms of the, let's see here, I guess I would have to say the next item would be, you know, just for looks, a fighting knife for looks. And I just came down to two of these, and they're both fixed blades. I mean, the Talwar, Cold Steel Talwar would probably do it for me in terms of looks. The fully serrated, the extra large, I think that's really pretty much the coolest. Now, I do like the Cold Steel, you know, Voyagers, though, the large and extra large, fully serrated, and I think that you can't go wrong with that at all. And even the Recon, that could be a photo as well, the large, fully serrated with the Tonto blade. Anyways, they're all winners, but in terms of probably my favorite fixed blade, more of a fantasy knife, or I wouldn't even say fantasy knife, but, you know, just something that, you know, just because of the looks, that I would pick it over the looks. And I've owned one of these before. I don't own it currently, but the full-size Ka-Bar fighting knife, and the black blade, and the stacked leather washer handle, and the leather sheath, just for the classic look. I think that's awesome. And even having the swedge on the upper tip sharpened, I think that would be super awesome. Now, in terms of the ultimate fantasy knife for me, and don't get me wrong, there's a handful of top knives that I would probably look at, and other brands. I mean, there's so many. You know, if you're into knives like we are, it's a little hard to even, you know, sum it down to the top 100 knives you'd really want. But Microtech, the crosshair model, the Microtech, I like that a lot. I like that serrated upper and the lower. I think that could be a really wicked blade. Now, Spyderco has some fixed blades for self-defense, but I don't know. It just seems like their handles are a little bit not to my liking, but I think that they're probably pretty good. But the Microtech crosshair is number one for that fantasy or the ultimate, you know, fighting fixed blade. So what are your picks? Are you a Jedi Knight at heart? Or do you pick other types of genres? And what kind of arms would you know, battle of arms would you select for practical reasons, and also for fantasy, or just for collectability, or for looks? This is The Art of Prepping, signing out. Thanks for all your great comments and all the subs, and we'll have another video real soon. Thanks a lot.